What's happening out there, everybody? This is Lawrence Ross, and you probably can't really see it all that well, but I'm currently wearing my sunglasses and my favorite hat, the Phil Hendrie Show hat, which ties in nicely with this video. And we'll try and have it show up on camera here. I'm not sure if y'all can see that. But this is a hat that used to be on philhendrieshow.com. Used to be on the shop. The shop now has just digital downloads and a subscription to the website, which is a pay website. But anyway, Phil Hendrie is a radio personality who I've listened to for years and years and years, and I never thought in a million years that I'd get a chance to interact with him. But as years went by, technology became a little bit more and more prevalent, and becoming a Backstage Pass member definitely has its perks. And it's really cool establishing a connection with him. And Phil's actually been on my radio show 3 times, by the way. You can check out LRWS on YouTube. There's an interview section, and it has all 3 of the times Phil has been on my program. Now on to the meat and potatoes of this video. Phil has released a total of 12 physical best of albums from 1994 all the way up to 2005. And here is the track listing for each and every single one of those albums. Starting off in 1994, when Phil was at 610 WIOD in Miami, Florida. We have in this order the following cuts. 18 cuts, by the way. And it goes in this order. We have Phil Has Landed, Our GM Bob Green, Escaped Convict, Steve Warnell, let's see, Blind Musicians versus, hang on, take 2. Margaret of Val Harbor, Blind Musicians, Marlins versus Blind Musicians. Let's see. Crap. Brain fart. Oh, got it. RPD Steve Nickel, Wayne's Man Chip, Kim Bocamper Tap Dances, Dixon Hawk, Scooter, Sarah from Deerfield, On the Road with Charles Carroll, by the way, Betty Attacks Betty, Cooking with Jim Mandich, Margaret on Nudity, Phil Talks Immigration, and Zimpher, which is a reference to then Miami Dolphins radio announcer Bill Zimpher. And now we go to 1995. We have Canadians Part 1, I Don't Get Neil Part 1, referring to Neil Rogers, Margaret's Valentine's Day Gifts, Roland's Easter House, one of my favorites, Rush Limbaugh, Lady from Chile, Watch Your Language, Margaret's Mother's Day Gifts, Turn Your Radio Up, Urine Stick, Handicap Parking, I Don't Get Neil Part 2, and Canadians Part 2. Now we go to 1996, an album called Face West. And we have Larry King, that's where Phil and the real Larry King interact. Then we have Mrs. Edelman, You Son of a Bitch, Hello Andrew, Embrace the Machine, Miami Beach Hello, Margaret and the Psychic, The Easter Bunny is Dead, Francisco Calling, Curtis Air, and Adios. Now we go to 1997, an album called Still on the Air. This is when Phil had moved from Florida back to his hometown of Los Angeles. And we have in this order 15 cuts. Cerritos Part 1, All You Can Eat Negro, fan favorite. Luke, Luke, I'm Your Father. David G. Hall, Margaret Beats Her Kid, Push Number 2. Myrtle and Viola, what? Reference to his Jeff Dowder character. What? The pothead. Let's see. Cabbage Patch, Please Hang Up. Dr. Jim Sadler, Luke, You're an Asshole. Let's see, we have 13, Mavis and Rose, It Just Fades. And Cerritos Part 2, which has a bonus track of Phil getting married to his then wife, Maria Sanchez. And then we have 1998, A Chilling Day for Talk Radio, which the art of the disc was a little caricature of Phil with a cigar, and it was designed by Matt Groening, the same guy who created The Simpsons, Futurama, Life in Hell, and now I can't remember the name of the show that he did for Netflix, or does for Netflix. It escapes me, unfortunately. If somebody in the comment section can let me know the name of the show, I'd greatly appreciate it. All right, here we go. 1998, Chilling Day for Talk Radio. We have Ruth 98, Cool Hand Luke, Dion from Felon, I really don't know exactly how to pronounce that properly. Arlie Ermy, that's where the real Arlie Ermy was on the show, had no idea what was going on, but when he found out, he would later go on to say, "That maggot Henry did it again!" When he heard something he really enjoyed on the program, that was his common response. Mr. Lloyd, Damn Phone, Cat Sex, Smoking a Doobie, It's Bitchin', Burning Bugs, Stan Chambers, Censorship, and Sex with Ministers, which features 2 bonus tracks, one of Dale Dye, who is in the movie Outbreak, he was in JFK. There's a clip of him doing a little announcement for the program, and then there's a clip of Phil talking about lobster traps. He inadvertently says fuck on the air. It's great. Then we go to 1999, Communism is Neat. And here we have Coast to Coast, Ballroom Bud, Pizza, Lord Vader, Pero Booze, Gimme a Kiss, Art Bell Mission to Mars, Four Seasons, My Name is Judy, Bobby Goes to Dachau, Mock Spanik, Boys Are Back, and Bud and RC. And around 1999, in late 99, it was when Phil started his syndication deal with Premier Radio Networks. And here we have 2000, #1 rated. And this actually was the only album to be pressed on vinyl. That's kind of interesting little factoid there. And here we go. For this album, we got Skipping Frank Part 1. Love that one. Goth Talk. Sister Josephine. Colonel of Corn. Greenskeeper. One of my favorites. Me and my dad's favorites, by the way. One of our favorites. Art Bell Does Phil. Classic. Straight Arrow Ministries. Dental Breast Exam. Dave Oliva. Let's see. Then we have An Evening with the Quades, Part 1 and Part 2. They're split up, so Cut 10 is Part 1, Cut 2 is Part, Cut 11 is Part 2. Cut 12 is Support Christopher Reeves. 13 is The Pope is Backed Up, which, by the way, that got them thrown off the air in Omaha. Evidently, Omaha didn't take too kindly to that. Then we got Full Cavity Search. Then we have Men Hate Oral Sex, Skipping Frank Part 2, and Skipping Frank Part 3. Then we go to Bring It from 2001. And we have, in this order, 12 cuts. We have, Bobby, Don't Ever Say That Word, talking about Columbine. Vernon, Mother's Day Lube. RC, Doing Cows. Colleen, Two Fingers to Thinner Thighs, and that's a reference to the character Colleen Kristen Brewster, who is a travel agent. And then there's Clara and the ADD Guy. David Hall, Women in the Bathroom. Pastor William Rennick, Werewolf. Dean Wheeler, Ass Pasting for Peace. Ted Bell, there's a cut from Ted Bell. Ted Loves the Lakers. Then we got Jeff on Roller Coaster Safety, Art British Air, and Chris's Clone, talking about Chris Norton, character that he did. He's a sex hound. Then 2002 came in. This was the first time that Phil did a double CD. So you double your pleasure. It's like the Double McGum commercials of yesteryear. So in this order, we got Phil Hendrie, The Disclaimer, Margaret Gray, Let's Kill Arafat, classic, one of my favorites. Bobby Dooley, The Cobra's Out, comedy gold right there. Dave Oliva, Taliban Olympics. The woman in that clip just goes off her rocker, just off her head. It's hilarious. David Hall, Valentine's Day tribute, which features Sylvia, this woman who she would scream and yell at the characters, but she was so nice to Phil. It was just awesome. Vernon Dozier, Plain Go Boom. Classic, one of my favorites. Margaret Gray, The Greek Kebab Hut, hilarious. Paul Tubby Lane, Pissy Pants. Jay Santos, The Spelling Test. RC Collins and Harvey Wireman, The Gunner's Daughter. Then we have Father McQuarters, A Wee Peak. That was that's Phil's Irish Catholic priest character. Then we have Ted Bell, Wooden Leg. Steve Boiselle and Jeff Dowder, Pee and Pool. And Margaret Gray, Snowbird. And then there's a little excerpt of Phil doing a bit with Lloyd Bonafide, where a woman says that Spider-Man is a man, and Lloyd Bonafide goes, "Oh, so he has a penis?" And she goes, "I'm quite sure she does. You know, I'm quite sure he does. Cinderella had a vagina." Something to think about. Then we have disc number 2, Phil Hendrie, the disclaimer. It's the exact same disclaimer, by the way, folks. Margaret Gray, this is for you, Ted. Father James McWhorter's Holy Water Urination, talking about Opie and Anthony getting dropped from CBS. Bobby Dooley, Party at the Lake. Lloyd Bonafide with R.C. Collins, The Dose. Chris Norton, Strip Class. Clara Bingham and Harvey Wireman with a track called Grape Soda. Jay Santos, The Virus. Larry Grover, Christian Sex. Let's see, then we have R.C. Collins, Code Blue. David Hall, Apologize to Gary Condon. Vernon Dozier, Nukes. Chester Shunt, The Chester Shunt Show, which is a home improvement show that goes awry. Then there's Bud Dickman and David Hall with The Show Monitor. And then there's Margaret Gray doing a tribute to Ann Landers. And then there's another little hidden track of Phil cracking up about a line he dropped in a bit. And then he starts goofing on Carrot Top for some reason. Then there's 2003. We got The Death of Talk Radio, still continuing the trend of the double CD. So we got Margaret Gray, Human Shield. We got Bobby Dooley, Dirty Panties. Jay Santos with Lloyd Bonafide, The Belt Sander. Dean Wheeler, Short Stack. Let's see, we got Vernon Dozier, Dada. Clara Bingham, Floor Seats. Larry Grover, The French. Margaret Gray and The Jesse Alert. We got R.C. Collins, Slacker. Bob Green, Bologna Sandwich. Lloyd Bonafide, Burning Man. We got Herb Sewell, On Your Knees. And Herb Sewell, he started out as a regular character, but then he became more psychotic. 13 is Austin and Marco, Winnie the Pooh. 14, we got Rudy Canosa making his Phil Hendrie Show album debut with Lingerie. And it features the sound of a foghorn every time a fat woman goes into his store. And Rudy Canosa is an Argentinian man, and he loves to tell callers that when an Argentinian man sees a beautiful woman, it is a custom for him to go la 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 la. So there's that. But he doesn't get into that on this album. He goes into that on a different album. Then there's Pastor William Rennick, Islamic Roundtable, which is great. Then we go, that's the end of disc 1, so we go to disc number 2. We got Margaret Gray, Human Shield, but this time it's a little different. We got Steve Moselle and Beltway. And then we have Ted Bell with Lloyd Bonafide and Thin Mints. Bobby Dooley, Mud Out Your Ass. R.C. Collins, Bastard. Jay Santos' theme song, which is hilarious. Dean Wheeler, Homeland Security. Margaret Gray, Hit and Run. Vernon Dozier, Chinese. We got Larry Grover, Cheerleader. We got Clara Bingham, Holy Land. And Chris Norton, Are You Hot? Let's see, we got Don Parsley, Donation. Don Parsley is a con artist character. Dr. Jim Sadler, Relocate. And then there's Father James McWhorter's Soldiers for Peace. Then we have the 2004 album, Friday Night 7-Eleven, one of my favorites. And this album is unique because one album is all of the phone calls where the people interact with the characters, and then there's a disc of skits. Now there's an error in the printing press in that the labels were reversed. So you'd open up the album, to pick out the disc that you wanted, and the one that was labeled skits had the calls, and the one that had the calls was labeled the skits. But either way, here we go. We have, for the phone calls, 17 cuts. We got Ted Bell and the Curse of Lowbrow Customers. That's one of my all-time favorites. Margaret Gray and the Jesus Freak. Vernon Dozier's baseball career. Love that one. Herb Sewell and the Blonde, but it's not Herb Sewell. It's rather Tony Neal. It's like the characters sound a little bit different, but kind of similar, but not really. Well, just a little bit. Then there's Don Parsley and the Munchkin. Bobby Dooley and the Immigration Problem. Then there's Steve Moselle and the Dirty Diaper. Justin McElroy and his Stupid Parents. Justin McElroy is based off of Phil's kids, basically. Just the overall attitudes that kids have, basically. Cut number 9 is Clara Bingham, middle school teacher. Jay Santos, The Pervert and the Garage Sale. That's a great one. Let's see, then we got Larry Grover, War Widow, Margaret Gray in the bathtub, Jim Sadler in the bathroom break. We got Herb Sewell's out-of-body experience. That was around the time when Phil decided to make this Herb Sewell character totally psychotic, and it is brilliant. Then there's, let's see. Okay, let's see, cut 15. Okay, yeah, cut 15, that's Vernon Dozier in the gas station. 16 is David Hall, Fields Listener Calls. And the last one is Steve Bozel's Sexual Confidence. He got a little upset over the song I Will Survive by Gloria Gaynor. All right, then we got the skits. We have a Fans Answering Machine, Cowboy Jim, one of my favorites, Calling Michael Moore, Art Bell, and in that one, the character General Johnson Jameson goes inside Hurricane Charlie in Florida to try and find little people. Chris Norton, that's where that's where he wants to use the name George W. Bush as a porn star name. Then there's Harvey Wireman and Jeff Dowder. That's where they ride this roller coaster, and it's hilarious. Then there's the Skippy and Frank morning show, Guessing Your Weight, Where Do Babies Come From, Jim Rome. Phil does a little takeoff on Rome. Jim Rome. Then there's How Do Forest Fires Start, which is a favorite of me and my dad's, and we love that bit. Hal and Viola, who are this old couple who, they always fly their helicopter over to Loveland, Nevada, but they never make it there. They always crash on the way down, and Hal's always yelling like, "Oh, you whore, you didn't get gas!" Or sometimes he'll go, "We're stalling, we're gonna stall out!" And then there's Calling from the Barn Phone. And then we have the last one, 2005, Are You For Real? And we have the same pattern as before, as the last album. We got skits on one side, we got calls on the other. Going chronologically, we do the calls first. Doug Danger, Eyeball to Eyeball. One of my favorites, very underappreciated if you ask me. Doug Danger is a gay man and a gay journalist, and he will tell you about it every chance he gets, folks. He loves to tell you that. Then we got Bobby Dooley Flu Shot. Then there's Dean Wheeler Smoking in the Military. Rudy Canosa with the La La La. No, I'm sorry. Anyway, let's see. Rudy Canosa. Wrong title. Rudy Canosa, you lie, because that was a sketch. Because that was the moment where he was trying to do the Argentinian man when he sees a beautiful woman, he does the la la thing, and this woman from Argentina calls up and says, "No, you're full of crap," and he starts getting it, goes, "You lie, you liar, you don't lie to me, Rudy Canosa." Okay, then we got cut number 5, Jay Santos, tailgating. Then we got Don Berman and Channel 19 News, one of my favorites, because it dealt with the Terry Schiavo situation. I lived in Florida during that. That was Chaos Unchained. Then there's Raj Vanin with Fast Food. Then there's Justin McElroy and Lateral Lisp. Dean Wheeler Hemorrhoids. He's upset because George W. Bush got reelected. Then we got Lloyd Bonafide, I've Got a Rock, which is classic. Then we got Rudy Canosa, Comunista. Then we got Bob Green, Hold My Salami. Oh, that's one of my favorites. Then there's David Hall, Deep Throat. Steve Bozel and the Babo. It's supposed to be Bible, but this Chinese guy, he called in to talk to Steve, and he referred to it as the Babo, and Steve was just hung up on it for some reason. He was drawn to that. Then there's Lloyd Bonafide and Saddam, where he feels that Saddam Hussein, now being photographed in his underwear, females would soften their views towards him. So that is that. Now we have the last round of sketches. So here we go. Rounding out this selection, we got Margaret Gray, Come Sail Away, which Phil played on his final show on terrestrial radio. Then we got Bud Dickman and Phil's Hot Tub, David Hall, Smokin', Jim Rome's Sir Romy, where Jim Rome imagines that he's being knighted by the Queen, and it's great. Then there's Caller Andrew with the Ad-Libbing Parrot. Then there's Jeff Dowder, How Do Tsunamis Start? Then there's Caller Ray's Tsunami Car Wash, one of my favorites, one of my top favorites. I know I've said that sometimes, but I have a lot of favorites, all right? I'm kind of like Richard Christie on the Howard Stern Show when it comes to some of this stuff. It's my favorite. All right, then we got cut number 8 with Rudy Canosa, the La La, where he talks about Ashley Simpson. Cut number 9 is Coast to Coast, where it's General Jameson finds Cupid. Then there's Norm Duncan with the Cabo-Matic. Frodo the Puppet taunts Phil. Then there's Vinny Applehead yoga instructor. Father James McQuarters becomes black. And rounding out the collection, it is Coast to Coast Jameson aboard Discovery. Well, there it is, folks. 230 cuts from the Phil Hendrie Show. You can check out more at philhendrieshow.com. Not a paid endorsement, by the way, but I would like to give the man props. One of the biggest inspirations to basically have me do what I'm doing right now. So anyway, go check it out, philhendrieshow.com. Get a backstage pass and just laugh your troubles away. It's beautiful. Link in the description. I'm Lawrence Ross, and I will see you later. Bye-bye.